Welcome friends to my grand library for the best armour enchantments guide. I'm your host, the Obsidian Noob, and in today's video we're not only going to talk about what the best enchantments are for your items, but we're also going to talk a little bit about what those enchantments actually do. So sit back, enjoy, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course use those timestamps to navigate this video. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so let's start right at the top of the body with these things, helmets, because there are a lot of enchants that are going to be very useful to you, but will make you very powerful. We're going to go through this list here, there's 6 in total, but we're going to start off with protection. Now protection comes in 4 levels, and without any armour or protection at all, you can see we're dead in about 7 hits from the zombie. If we just enchant a chest plate, I know we're talking about helmets, but let's just go with a chest plate for now, you can see it gives you a little bit more protection, and you're dead in about maybe 10 or 12 hits. But the real beauty of protection is that it stacks. So if you put a level 4 enchantment on each of your items, you can see here the zombie is barely even hurting us, and it makes you almost invincible to these kind of mobs. So definitely put it on all of your items. Now Unbreaking 3, there's no point in doing the whole video about it. All that Unbreaking does is it enhances your durability on items so that they don't break as easy. So let's move on to the next enchant then, and that is Thorns. So there's 3 levels of Thorns, and each level adds a 15% chance of doing between 1 and 4 hearts worth of damage to any mob that attacks you. That's regardless of whether it's a melee attack or if it's a ranged attack. Now one of the better things to do is not only put that just on one item, but put it on all of your items, because guess what? That bonus stacks. So with 4 items, all with level 3 Thorns, you're looking at about a 60% chance of doing the maximum damage of 4 hearts every time you're attacked, and on average you're going to be doing at least 3 hearts worth of damage. So that is a pretty powerful enchantment to have on all of your armour, and definitely something that I would recommend to damage those mobs. But what's even better than that even still is to double up those enchants and put your protection and your Thorns on, and then you'll see from this clip right now we're pretty much invincible against these basic mobs, because we're not really taking any damage. The Thorns is doing everything, and I'm not even attacking this guy. If I had a sword or a weapon, he'd be dead in absolutely no time at all. So let's move on to the next one. Let's look at Respiration. Respiration comes in 3 levels, 1, 2 and 3. So you know when you jump in water, right, you get the air bubbles come up and they sort of dwindle quite quickly, and you start running out of air. Well, this is where Respiration comes in. Now Respiration, each level will add 15 seconds of extra time underwater. So if we equip a Respiration level 3, then we're going back underwater now with 45 extra seconds of air compared to what we had normally, and you can see that in the bubbles alone, where they're just not going down that quick. And this is really useful if you want to explore underwater ruins, underwater temples, or if you're trying to mine those underwater ores that you've seen. And while we're talking about mining, look at how quick we can break that block. Well, when we go underwater, that's a different story, because it takes a lot longer. In fact, there's a 5 times penalty for how long it takes to break a block underwater, and that's where aqua affinity comes in. When you equip aqua affinity, essentially what it does is it negates that 5 times penalty, and it allows you to break the block the same way you would do on land. But of course, what's better than just using aqua affinity is to mix the 2 together. With Respiration 3 and aqua affinity, we get tons of time underwater, and we can go about exploring and breaking whatever we need to. So back to our enchantments room, let's talk about Mending. Now Mending is really important, because essentially this is going to allow you to use experience balls to replenish any durability damage. And for this we're going to go back to our example where we were using the chest plate against the zombies. You can see in the bottom left corner we've taken a bit of durability damage, but if we equip that and then we run over and we grab a load of experience points, look at the XP bar. It doesn't immediately start to go up, but then it does. Now the reason for that is because it use the experience to repair this chest plate, and you can see we now have no durability damage. So Mending is one of those really important enchantments that you must have. So before we move on to the next section, which is chest plates, let's just recap on the helmets. Protection 4 and Unbreaking 3, Thorns 3, Respiration, aqua affinity, and then Mending, and that's going to give you everything you need for the best helmet enchantments. So moving on into chest plates then there's no surprise here that most of these enchantments are going to be exactly the same, but I would recommend that you don't enchant iron or gold, probably wait until you get to diamond so you don't waste your experience. But your main enchantments for this set are going to be the best are Protection 4, Unbreaking 3, Thorns 3 and Mending. There's no surprise there, so let's skip it forward into the next room. So talking about legs, very luckily for me is a nice easy job because it's exactly the same as the chest plate, so I won't waste too much time here either. Protection 4, Unbreaking 3, Thorns 3 and Mending. Again, same enchants, but if you stack these it is going to make you very, very powerful. But moving on into the boots room, and there is something new here for me to talk about. So let's get straight into this part. Protection 4, Unbreaking 3, Thorns 3, that's all the same as before, but now we've got two new ones ahead of the Mending enchantment. So let's first break away and talk about Feather Falling and more importantly level 4 before moving on to Depth Strider. Okay, so Feather Falling's a good one. This reduces the amount of damage taken from falling that would normally be ignored on your armour class. So without any armour, we take 2 hearts worth of damage. With Boots of Feather Falling 4, we actually only take 1 heart of damage. Now this enchant at level 4 negates 48% of the damage that you would normally take. But what's even better, and not a lot of people know this, is it actually stacks with Protection. So we only took half a heart there, because stacking it with Protection 4 negates up to 80%, and that could literally save your life. Back into the water, let's talk about Depth Strider, which is all about reducing the slowing effect of water. You can see here there's a bit of a drag, whereas if you use the Depth Strider enchantment, each level reduces the amount of water drag by 33%. So at level 3 you've got a 99% reduction in the effect of water, so therefore you are moving at the same speed you would do on land. Now if you combine that with Respiration 3 and Aqua Affinity, that's going to make you very quick and very efficient underwater. So back in the Grand Library then, this final room is just a last little bit from me. The first one is about substituting some of your protection levels for fire protection. If you can get 7 levels, so like a 4 and a 3 to make 7, then that will negate most damage done by lava and make things a lot easier if you're exploring the Nether. Now there's been a lot of detail in this video, so the other thing that I wanted to do was put together a little book for you so you've got everything on one screen about the best enchantments in my opinion that you can put on your armor items. So to recap, for helmet and for chest and for legs and boots, Protection 4, Unbreaking 3, Thorns 3 and Mending on everything. For your helmet, you're going to want to add Respiration 3 and Aqua Affinity, and on your boots you're going to want to put Depth Strider and Feather Falling as well. That will give you pretty much the best rounded armour for taking on survival mode in this game. Now if this content has been of use to you today, please consider subscribing to the world of the Obsidian Noob and smashing that like button because it does help me grow as a YouTuber. But if you've remembered nothing else from this video, just remember one thing: don't die, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching.